Hello, my noble band of outlaws. Outlaw Samurai coming at you live with a video from my local hole-in-the-wall diner. A lot of you who are native to Indiana, and especially in the Greene County area, will know what I'm about to say when I say Yoho's General Store. I am trying food from here for the first time ever. I had heard about how good the fried chicken is, but apparently that's a once in a blue moon special. So they focus primarily on sandwiches from the looks of things. So I ordered a breaded fish sandwich and a breaded tenderloin sandwich. This is the breaded tenderloin. They got a generous amount of fries here. This is the breaded fish. They gave me ketchup. Isn't that nice of them? And they both smell delicious, by the way. But we're going to start with the beef. Oop. Oop, I dropped my pickle. Right back in there. Okay, this is not beef tenderloin. I don't want to say it's pork, but it tastes like chicken. So far, not bad. Let me cleanse the palate a bit. Try the fries. Not bad. Could definitely use more salt though. So far, so good. I don't know if they use the mandolin to cut these tomatoes, or they just buy them pre-cut. But the tomatoes taste very fresh. For those of you who don't know what a mandolin is, it's not the instrument. The mandolin that I'm referring to is a flat board with a blade in it that you go back and forth with your vegetables with, and it makes them all uniform thickness. How well a mandolin would work with tomatoes is beyond me. As I don't have a mandolin. No. I know what y'all are gonna say. That, oh, you don't need a mandolin to cut vegetables and shit, just use a knife. Don't underestimate the cost-saving ability of a mandolin. Because the mandolin makes all the slices uniform and even. That means that you won't get the uneven cuts from piece to piece that you would normally get with hand-cut vegetables. Meaning if you're going to make a vegetable-heavy dish and you need sliced vegetables, it helps cook everything evenly. Plus, it helps mitigate cost per sandwich in making the sandwich. Meaning that restaurants that have mandolins or use pre-cut, pre-machine sliced produce can generally charge less because they're not doing the actual manual labor required to process the vegetables. But now let's get, ooh, that fish is powerfully hot. And the fries are also consistent between the orders of not having a genuine amount of salt, which I can honestly see because most of the diners that come here, especially on Sunday, which is what I'm doing it, are elderly or more elderly, so they have to watch their salt intake more. Let's see how this tastes. Tastes like your standard fish fillet that you'd honestly get out of a box. Which I understand, this is a general store / diner. They don't have time to prep the fish and individual fry it. Yeah, they're using pre-sliced tomatoes. Or they're slicing these things on a mandolin or something because these tomato slices are too even between the sandwiches. Now, I will be truthful. This is my first time ever eating anything from Yoho's General Store. And in my mind, I had the image of like these very handmade meals where everything from the way the meat is sliced to the way the cheese is sliced to like the way it's prepped, the vegetables are all hand cut. There's little unevennesses between, kind of like going to your grandmother's for lunch and she's made these sandwiches and you know that the sandwiches are and the tomatoes are thick on one end and thin on the other end. If she hand cut the pickles, some pickles are thicker than others. Like a really homemade-ish vibe. And while I still get that vibe, I can a lot of people, when they expect a vibe like that and they get like more processed looking food than like the full-on homemade, everything's prepped at home, you know, minus the sauces or the bread, and they get a little upset over that. You need to understand that restaurants don't, unless you go to like a really, really high-end restaurant, they don't necessarily have the time to prep everything. No matter what restaurant you go to, they're always going to use some kind of corner-cutting, cost-saving measure. Whether that's cheaper beef that they then in turn slow cook, or taking old like meat trimmings and throwing them in a pot and making some kind of soup or stock out of them, or stew. Something like that. And as I've been watching a lot of like chef reaction videos, I start to be able to justify more in my head like the costs of certain things in restaurants. And while this is not your typical restaurant, it's more of a it's a general store but with like a diner aesthetic added into it. It's like a diner basically. And not to say that the food isn't good. It's great. It's very filling. Alright? Just from the first sandwich and a few of these fries I'm snacking on, plus the lemonade I guzzled, I'm starting to get significantly full. Now, time for the ratings. And I know this video has become a lot longer than most of my taste testing videos, but I got 2 sandwiches and a rant to get through. In any case, what would I rate these sandwiches? I give the tenderloin a solid 9 out of 10. And the reason being is that with my personal biases, and I know I probably should have ordered this, but I didn't. I was assuming this was a beef tenderloin sandwich, because it just said breaded tenderloin. I prefer my pork in the ham and bacon form, or pork chop form, more. And that's a mistake on my part. I admit to that I didn't realize that this was a pork tenderloin sandwich instead of a beef tenderloin sandwich. So with my personal 9 out of 10, so with my personal biases being a 9 out of 10 on the pork tenderloin sandwich, just simply because I have more of a inkling to eat the ham, bacon, the saltier cuts of pork instead of the tenderloin. That's what it gets with my personal biases. Without my personal biases as a tenderloin sandwich, it gets a perfect it gets a perfect 10 out of 10. It had delicious, crispy, crunchy breading, well seasoned, again filling, and as a personal note, the customer service of the Yoho General Store also gets a 10 out of 10 for me, with and without my personal biases, because they were friendly, courteous, got my meal out to me in a timely fashion, and my overall experience was just chef's kiss. Now, this is not my first time coming to the Yoho General Store, but this is my first time ordering here. My first time ever coming here was just look around and see what the inside of the store looked like. But yeah, now, on to fish sandwich. Again, it scores a 9 out of 10 with my personal biases. The personal bias for this one is that I prefer catfish. When I eat breaded, fried fish, I love him catfish, okay? I prefer catfish. Now, without my personal biases, it gets a 10 out of 10 because it does what a fish sandwich should do. It fills you, it tastes good, it has good, the breading is not soggy like on a lot of fish sandwiches. It actually has crunch. And on to, since I ordered them, the French fries. 9 out of 10 with my personal biases because not enough salt for my taste. Without my personal biases, as French fries, I want to say an 8.5, and hear me out, usually without my personal biases, the score goes up, but there's something I must say, and that is, while they're good, they lack a good crisp, like crunchy. I don't know about other people, but I always loved, whenever I would go to fast food places, me and my dad would dig through the fries and always eat the really dark, crispy, crunchy ones first. And then we'd steal each other's crispy ones. As normal French fries, they do what the job of a French fry is, which is a side dish that adds to filling you up. And they're not completely without crunch. They do have a bit of a crunch to them. It's just not enough of a crunch to satisfy my need and desire for a good crispy bite, if that makes sense. Overall, if I calculate all the stores together, service, the food, the job of which it is to fill you up, ambiance, atmosphere, if I was to give Yoho's General Store a total score out of 100 points, it would score 97.5 points. I am taking out those. The reason it's 97.5 is because, again, my personal bias points total up to 3.5. Without my personal bias points, that score would immediately jump up to a 98 out of 100. Or would it drop to 9? Oh no, I think it would be 99 out of 100. All you in the comments below, do the math from this video and tell me. Overall, Yoho's General Store is pretty damn good food in my opinion. And longtime viewers will know I'm not good at explaining shit very well, so if I sound like I'm not giving them as good a score as they deserve, let me know in the comments below. Also, it was relatively inexpensive. Now, my order could easily be justified as an order for 2 people, since I got 2 sandwiches with fries. And usually, depending on how hungry I am, I could eat all this in one sitting. I'm not particularly hungry at the moment. Nobody make a hippo joke in the comments. Or if you do, at least make sure it's funny. And for those of you who don't know, there's a game called Hungry Hippos, and I said I'm hungry and I'm fat. But in any case, the total for everything, because I also got 3 drinks and a sticker, was $27.24 before $1.91 tax. So I got all those 3 drinks, 2 meals, like 2 full-on normal meals, and a sticker for sub $30. So if you're ever in Salisbury, Greene County, you can't miss it. Yoho's General Store is literally smack dab in the middle of the only 4-way street in Salisbury. Whatever way you're coming, however you enter Salisbury, Greene County, Indiana, you'll see Yoho's General Store. It's the big white building with the wooden bears out front. They're also part gas station, so. But in any case, I would definitely eat at Yoho's again, and I plan on eating again in the future. So until next time, my noble band of outlaws, Outlaw Samurai tells all y'all be crazy rednecks, be safe, use your weapons. I'm out. Peace. And yes, I need to get the filming setup made for the Outlaw Wagon 2.0, basically. And yes, I know I haven't shown any videos of it yet. The videos are going to be out of order as fuck. So, y'all know me. You know I suck at keeping shit in order and remembering the order in which I make shit. So, bear with me if you would. I'm out. Peace.